happened? When?
We're live, guys.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 51. We're live from Butler, New Jersey. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa.
Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy Festivus.
Holidays.
Whatever holiday you may celebrate, guys. Happy holidays to you. Now, guys, first thing is, how is the audio? So, last episode, we got a few complaints that the audio was getting worse. So, in response to that, what we did is I actually talked, I was sort of at my wit's end.
Microphone expert.
Well, yeah, I did not know that one of my students actually knows something about it. Fortunately, I looked at him, I said, is this something you know about last night? And he did. So he explained a few things on the mic. So we played around with, there's a couple buttons, placement, as well as hopefully we change the camera. So guys, please chime in, especially if you could put the more information you could put and the live, we can tweak it. If you tell us that the audio is bad, we can play around with the microphones and make it better. So if we get the feedback live, it's better. So and try to put in if it's phone or laptop. Sometimes people on the laptops appear to have a worse experience. Mike was actually listening from Texas, where it's cold as much as in New Jersey, on his laptop. So hopefully the audio is good, guys. Let's dive right into it. So one of the questions we got is guard passing concept. So let's talk about that. So guys, when I pass guard, I usually pass loose and fast with the gi and no-gi. You need to mix things up. You need to be prepared to kind of suddenly go tight and low, or left to right, or up and down. So you need to mix those aspects together. But one of the things that I try to do is I, generally speaking, I'm not a weakling, but a lot of the guys are, especially if they're bigger and stronger than me. So first of all, I don't let them get grips. If you let somebody get 4 grips, so Enrique has 4 grips, I have none. This is a mistake. This is a big mistake on my part. So a lot of times, you're taught to strip grips, especially with the gi. So if the guy gets a strong grip on your collar, and you're not going to strip this. All right, so I have very limited time to act. He has 4 grips, I have 0. This is a mistake. You should not let somebody get that far ahead. But even if you did, which is the critical grip? That's basically everything that he's doing to me. And if you're in Enrique's shoes, guys, don't just get the grips. Get the grips and use them. Start to get stuff going with them. Okay? So if you get grips, make sure you use them. So first thing, guys, if there's 4 grips, I need to figure out which is critical. I'm not going to strip them, so I need to make sure they become irrelevant through my movement. Guys, I'm going to repeat that. If you cannot strip the grips, make them irrelevant through your movement. So what do I mean by that? This is the critical one. This is the critical one. All right? So right now, I cannot strip it. It's just not going to go down. So I need to just pop up briefly and just back off my hips enough to be able to stuff his legs. From here, guys, now if I can sort of slide and make an E-cut, his grips are irrelevant. So I stuffed 1 out of the 4. Okay? Now, his other leg, that grip is irrelevant. His hands, that grip is irrelevant too. Yeah, go ahead. So basically, you need to prioritize which of his grips are the ones that are keeping you from accomplishing your mission. Okay, we're going to go over that again. I know this is simple, guys, and I actually spend most of this week teaching this to my students, because I realize a lot of times I've taught both ends, from the guard as well from the top. People in the guard, they get 4 grips. They're like, man, and then suddenly the guy shoves 1 or 2 one or two grips, And now the scene has completely changed dramatically. So what you need to make sure is, if you're on the bottom, guys, if you get your grips, use them. And this is actually a folly of I fell into the same trap when I was, I think, purple brown. I was like, okay, if I'm on the bottom and I have this, I'm feeling good about myself. And, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm technically superior. I got the good grips, but these are good. Things start to change very, very rapidly. So again, if I'm the guy on the bottom, if I have my grips and I sort of even feel remotely that Enrique is trying to stuff that important grip, I'm already swimming to replace, to make sure that I have my grips
Tap.
and I use them. Okay? So let's look at it from the reverse, again, from me passing the guard. So anytime first of all, I'm going to be trying to pass already. I don't allow him to establish grips. But should you make that big a mistake where you allow him to get 3 or 4 grips, again, if he does not use them immediately, you take them away. So there's two ways to take them away. One is to actually remove the grip physically, meaning to strip the grip. And the other one is to make the movement. So again, if he has, these are good grips. So you notice that I lowered my level first. I don't know if you can see, I'm actually squatting down on his left shin. The reason for that is you cannot move that leg right now, briefly. All right? So I'm squatting down to make sure I don't get off balance. Because if I get off balance, now he can start to attack, okay? So we make sure I have balance. This is the critical grip. This is the one that I need to beat. And after that, I'll deal with the other ones, all right? So right now, by squatting down, I have stability, but it's temporary. Enrique, with enough force, he can make, I'm not going to stay here. Again, once I beat his grips, I need to move, all right? Don't think like, well, I'm more technical. I don't care how big the skill gap is. If the guy actually uses what they have and the more skilled guy doesn't, the more skilled guy is going to get swept or submitted, and then he's like, wait, I thought I was better. Yeah, well, you are, but you're letting them get too far ahead. So you're far ahead enough. You have 4 grips, I have none. So I stuffed the first one, and I don't really care. If he starts to move, I'm going to try to, yeah. So Enrique is going into cross collar choke, which is fine, because right now, if I stay low, it's going to kick in. So I'll make sure. And from here, I'm going to swarm. All right? Guys, how is the audio?
Everyone's saying it's really good laptop and phone from Dublin to Alberta to Colorado.
You guys can hear me all that far?
They say it's cold in Alberta and Colorado. Right?
Well, it's going to get cold here,
cold
too.
here.
Right now, it's about
It is cold.
49. Well, wait till this afternoon. There's some Arctic thing coming. Guys, I hope that the guys guys, I appreciate constructive criticism. You know, if a guy is, just got his blue belt and says something, well, what do you, like, this works well for me. Well, listen, I'm sure you've seen everything in jiu-jitsu already in your 1 or 2 years of training. So maybe you shouldn't listen to me. But if it's constructive, guys, where you're trying to help us make the show better, I'm always appreciative. So, but it's always better live, because if it's live, I can play around with things. I've played around with all the things I can play around right now with. So on the mic and the camera. So, all right. So let's go back to the idea again. This is a very important concept, guys. First of all, do not allow him to get grips. All right, and I'm not a fan of doing this. I'm not letting him get grips. I'd rather let him get grips. And don't worry, John, you don't have to touch. I'd rather, yeah. And now I can sort of deal with them. I'm already stuffing one leg, so now he has 1, 2, and this is not a grip, but he has this one still. until it's okay. It's all right. Go ahead. So again, guys, deal with the most important one. You cannot deal with 4. Your body movement deals with the remaining 2 or 3. But you need to deal with the first one, and you got to figure out which one is the most critical. Usually in sort of a loose guard passing situation, in this, it's going to be this one. All right, so if I stuff, I cannot stuff, I will backstep. Now, depending how he deals with this, I can come back. I may attack knee bar, but again, I pick the critical one, take care of that, and the rest I address through my body movement. So I hope that helps you guard passing. And what kind of questions do we have?
So Vincent would like to know if your opponent ends up just pulling you into a closed guard, and he's a very strong closed guard.
Oh, he pulls you into a strong...
Yeah, so
closed
as
guard.
you're passing, Enrique opens up his legs, and you go into his closed guard, and then opening from there.
Yeah, you need to... I'm sure we covered it, guys. There's over 200 videos, but let's go over that. This is a good one. You need to make sure that you can open a closed guard. There's two primary methods. Okay, one is sort of stand-up staggered, and then the other one is log splitter. So, let's go this way. So again, this is going to be difficult for him as long as I usually try to keep one knee in. One knee in prevents him from hitting, you know, your traditional submissions, you know, the triangles, omoplatas, arm bars. So this is my right leg in is not just a method of passing, meaning I could knee cut to my right, I could knee cut to my left, but also it's a prevention. It prevents him from trying to get a submission. Now, and it's also difficult for him to close his guard, but yeah, I can constantly thwart him with that. All right, now, but let's assume Enrique is strong enough. So immediately, this is where you need to break the grips. All right, so you cannot, So usually I will try to break the grip. Sometimes it'll take some time to actually break them. So it's usually I use 2-on-1. But I'm gonna do one of two things. Stand up staggered. This opens their guard. You always have the option to be here at 10 o'clock in the morning. You don't have to use the bathroom if you use your bathroom at home. And stretch. All right, so this is how I usually open the guard. Hands on him. You can go. I like to use the same one. I don't like to use the gi too much. I like to use my hands, usually C grip, one on the neck, one in the armpit, or both in the armpit. Stand up staggered. Okay, so as soon as I break the grips, don't kind of break the grips and then, oh man, that was a battle. Because sometimes it will be a battle. It may take you 20, 30 seconds, which is a very long time, to get rid of the grips, push up and go. Don't, and now like, oh crap, you got to do it again. Break the grips, put your hands in the right place and go. There's a couple different places you can put it, but I usually like to put it on the neck and the armpit. Works same gi, no gi. I stand up staggered. My foot is as close to him as possible, and I use the inner thigh to sort of misalign. Well, sometimes I will use my hands to push down, and then I get a guard pass. The other possibility is a log splitter. Same thing, when the guy keeps, so every time I create that misalignment, which between his spine and his lower body, the misalignment causes his legs to start to open. If it doesn't, it's very easy to use your hands or your forearms to do that. But so sometimes, as he's squaring up, once I'm here, notice I'm using my inner thighs to control his hips. So Enrique cannot move side to side and attack my arm. Yeah, that's not going to happen. From here, guys, if I'm squared up, but he forced me here. I would try the first one first. I bring my leg in. I want to make sure that my knee starts to poke out. And then I just drop. A lot of times, this results. Yeah, good luck with that. His legs will pop open. Okay? You have some very high-level guys with long legs that stay locked, and there's a sweep. So you got to pay attention to where his hands grips are. You prefer not to. It's okay to have them on the collar, but not on your hands. Okay? So let's look at it one more time. So again, first, 2-on-1 usually. This may be some battle, but we're down to 4 minutes. Man, time flies when you're having fun. Pop up and miss a line. He starts to notice that I'm standing on his gi. It happened by accident, but now I like it. It's going to be much harder for him to line up with me. But if he does, I bring my leg right between his, and I just want to make sure my knee can come through. As it comes through, I drop. From here, I just start to drive. Notice what I'm doing with his hands. So right now, he's off balancing me. Now not so much. Then I can swim. From here, go ahead. Let's see what you got. From that, we pass the guard. All right? So, I hope that answers your question. We probably have time for one more.
Oh, we got a lot of questions here.
How's the audio, guys?
This is great from the
Question
UK.
is, what are you saying?
Wait, what?
Audio is perfect in the UK from Sam.
Oh, very nice.
Say it again.
I said very nice.
What happened?
Audio is good in
Oh,
the
from UK. Okay.
Yes.
I thought it was Claudio from UK says hi. I'm like, wait. Okay.
Back to, let's go back to the passing. James Strada would like to know how you deal with sticky feet. So you're passing in the open guard and
Oh, yeah.
you're
Sticky
moving up.
feet. Yeah. That's a good question. You train with Matt Serra, or is it different Trotter? So this is actually good. So, yeah, the sticky feet can be very dangerous, and that's one of the things. So if I'm in Enrique's guard, and basically he has two grips, but sticky feet I look at is there some tension? So I need to neutralize. Again, I probably cannot neutralize both. So if Enrique, it's much harder to do. So from here, if I square up a little bit, let go. Yeah. This is much worse. So anytime I usually start to bring. So this one, I don't worry about this one as much. So I almost force the De La Riva guard on him rather than be put in split guard. Yeah. So I only have to worry about one. So I can. So if he's the one controlling the distance, he's controlling that fight. Okay. He's controlling the fight for balance. So a lot of times I'll push in. I know I don't over exaggerate my movement, but I make subtle movements to make him do something in response to slight movement on my part. So let's look at it again. So Enrique, as he wants to push me out. All right. So I push in, and I know he has to push out. Now I have an opportunity to do something. It could be, especially an open guard. There's so many possible things you could do. But again, I'm talking about just neutralizing that sticky feet grip. All right. So again, I push in, and oh yeah, that was fast because I was here early and I was stretching. So again, neutralizing the sticky foot. Make the other one not as strong or not as irrelevant as he'd like it to be. So again, if Enrique has, yeah, both feet on the hips, yeah. I just made his left leg not as relevant. Now I'm sitting on it I'm kind of pinching it with my right calf and right hamstring. So right now, he has to do so. In order to be able to do anything with it, he needs to lift or off balance me, and that gives me a chance. If I backstep too far, if I fall, that's okay. I'm going right immediately back in. So I'm not afraid to fall in somebody's guard. That's another thing is, guys, learn to get back in the game if you fall, if he does sweep you. So if Enrique sweeps you, and I use this a lot against my high-level guys, you know, it's unrealistic to never be swept. But a sweep is only happening if he actually can get up and stay 3 seconds. So I battle. We could probably cover this for the next episode if you guys pile in and want this to be covered, but this is a very important concept. So I actually illustrated on the last sequence. So I have a choice. What I usually do now here, I usually try to battle, but he's pulling on my right arm, so it's not going to happen. So as he's coming up I'm looking into an immediately offensive mode. So I try to make it difficult enough for him to get on top, where he starts to expose either his arms or his neck. So again, that's a very important concept. I'm okay to be swept as long as I can create at least favorable grips off that sweep. And it's not really a sweep unless he can stay up for 3 seconds. By that, he's usually finished. All right, and guys, just like that, we're out of time. So we will see you episode 52. So we managed to put out 52 episodes, 1 a week, this whole year. Yeah, next week's gonna be 52. So we'll see you next week, Friday. Oh man,
Next Friday.
December.
Next.
No, it's not December. No,
It is.
we put out 51 episodes. This is it. This is the last episode of the year.
No, next Friday is
The
still
30th.
December.
Oh, okay.
December 30th.
Yes. All right, guys.
Guys, like, share, subscribe, leave good reviews on the audio. We work hard on it. And see you guys next week.
All right, guys.